This conference will now be recorded. This
Any cloud.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, whatever I'm explaining now, those are very generic to any cloud. Whether you are going for AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle Cloud, you will see all these service models will be there. It is nothing specific to Azure. So far, we have not reached yet to Azure. Now, the other type of classification is deployment model. So how you wanted to deployment cloud in your organization, right? First we see service model, means what kind of services you need to to implement cloud in your organization. We see if you have a big organization, you have a lot of administrator already, they are system administrator, then you can go for the basic model, which is called the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. In infrastructure as a service, all infrastructures will be provided by uh, cloud provider. In this case, if you are going for Azure, then these infrastructures will be provided from Azure, and the remaining stuff which are highlighted in this orange color will be taken care by your organization, right? This is what is yes. And when it is pass, what will happen? Pass will basically a very good option for a medium size organization, startup and all, where they don't want to spend money on infrastructure. They just don't want to buy any server or storage or database. They just wanted to directly go into they wanted to invest on the development part. So basically they wanted a platform, they wanted an environment with some 20 plus Windows system, 5 or 10 Linux system, so that they can directly hire the developer, and the developer will start doing the coding in Java, .NET, Python, or whatever technology you wanted to adopt. That case, what will happen? You platform as a service is a best option. As you can see here, platform as a service will be a best option for them. Oh, sorry. So platform as a service is a best option for them, and you can go all these informations from Azure. That means Azure will provide you based on your requirement some Java platform or .NET platform or Python or Go or whatever technology you wanted as per your requirement. They will provide directly. Your developer can access those platform and start doing the development for your business. That is what is called platform as a service. In that case, only application and data, because the application means you have to develop your application, right? Whatever application you wanted to work or whatever is your business requirement, and obviously the data which you are using will be managed by you. The remaining things will be managed by Azure. Now the last option, the last service model which we see is called SaaS, software as a service. In software as a service, what will happen? Everything will be managed by the cloud provider, right? You must have heard about many ERP tool like SAP tool, Salesforce, Pega, Workday. You must have heard even Gmail, YouTube, Netflix. If you'll see all those things where everything is managed by the cloud provider, right? Only end user. So end user means the people like you and me, right? I wanted to take a subscription of Amazon Prime. Am I managing anything? Let's see. Am I managing Am I managing any networking? No. Storage? No. Server? No. Virtualization? No. Operating system? No. I don't know. In YouTube, whenever you are looking into video, have you ever thought about like it is written in which platform? The application is placed on which virtualization server? It is a Windows server or the IBM server? No, we don't care. We are the end user. We are only doing that. Everything in the background is managed by the cloud provider, right? For that reason, gave you the example of pizza party, where you are not at all doing anything at your home. You are simply asking your relative or friends, okay, I will give you a party, let's meet at so and so pizza center, Domino or Pizza Hut or whatever pizza you like. You just let's come there, and everything will be managed by the Domino people. You are simply going along with your friend, occupy some table, order your favorite dishes, eat it, pay the bill, and came out. No any single headache is on your side. Who will bring the raw material? Who will pay? What kind of pizza? Whether it's large or medium? What kind of toppings? Nothing is your problem, right? That is how it's called software as a service. So these are, just remember this question. This may be a interview question sometimes come. What are the different service model available in cloud? So there are three types: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Now, next classification in cloud is what are the different type of deployment model, right? Deployment model means what? How you can deploy cloud, right? So deployment model means if you which kind of cloud you should go for. So on that basis of deployment model, there are three type of clouds available. One is public cloud, second one is private cloud, third one is hybrid cloud. So to give that example, I am just take some picture of a bus which is representing public service, public transport, your private car which is a private cloud, and Uber or Ola type of cab, where though it is public, but whenever you are booking, it is only for your private purpose, right? So basically, it is a combination of private and public. So if you'll see, this is a combination of private plus public. Now just think about the situation in which cases you will go for which cloud, right? Where you will go for a public cloud. But first of all, let's try to understand. See, whenever I'm saying something, start thinking in a direction why this kind of different models are required, right? Because why private, public, hybrid, cloud are there? Why not only one set of cloud option is there, only private? Yes, that is possible. But what are the advantages and disadvantages? Let's discuss, right? Suppose I will go only for private cloud. What do you mean by private cloud? Private cloud means if you will go for private cloud, your company resources, right? Suppose Ajay, if you remember my yesterday's example, I am having a small startup company, food ordering app application I'm developing, just like Swiggy or Zomato. So in that case, if I will put all my 434 servers or my database, all my infrastructure and services into a private cloud option, that means what? Private cloud means Azure will give all my resources, all my organization stuff in a secured server. No sharing will happen, right? No sharing means no other organization data will be kept in that server. It will be completely dedicated to my organization, right? So obviously, if you are completely occupying a server, occupying some server, some infrastructure or some resources only for your private purpose, don't you think that is very much similar to your on-premises setup? In on-premises also, when if you remember what is on-premises, what we are doing, we are buying everything, right? if you buy if you buy one server, if you buy a set of server or database or storage, then definitely that will be used only by you, not by your other friendly company or your rivalry company or anybody else. That means that is completely your private property. But what was the disadvantage? Disadvantage was managing them, operational cost, capital cost. So overall, it is a very expensive affair, right? That is why private cloud. What are the problem with private cloud? Private cloud is very expensive. Why it is expensive? Because the data is only belonging to your organization. So whatever operational cost, whatever maintenance cost, whatever are there, only you have to pay. That is why it is costly. But what about the public cloud? So public cloud is very cheap. Why? Because in public cloud, if you are choosing public cloud, that means your data will be stored in the same storage, same database, or same server along with other organization data. Obviously, it is not like that. You may ask like, okay sir, then you are saying like if we'll go for public cloud, then anybody can use our data, access our data? No, Azure will maintain those things. They will have some logical partition in that case. Your data will be only your authorized people will be check or access, and others data will be accessed by other organizations resources. That kind of security will be there, or that kind of separation will be there. It is not like that you will start accessing other users data, right? So for that reason, let's give an example of this public transport, right? Whenever you are going by a public transport, what is happening? Why you are going by, why you are choosing public transport, by the way? Right, we are choosing public transport because that is inexpensive or cheaper, right? In comparison to either if you will be given a choice, buy a car and go to office, or take a Ola cab, or take a TSRTC bus. Which one will be cheaper? Obviously, everybody will say the bus service will be cheaper. Why it is bus service is cheaper? Because many people are traveling. It is large in size, and because it is accessed by anyone, that is why the operational cost is less. That does not mean someone else will take your luggages or somebody else is sitting over you, right? You will have your own occupied place. You will also given some particular place to put your luggage or stuff. That is not at all compromised, but there is a chance like somebody may stole it, somebody may access it if he or she has a very wrong intention, right? Some pickpocketing and all those things may happen in public transport. Nobody can deny that. But that is also secure. That does not mean like somebody will come and sit over you, saying like this is public, anybody can access, so I can sit over you. No, not like that. Okay. Why we are going by the way? Because that is cheaper in cost, right? But if because it is cheaper in cost, obviously security point of view, you will see it is less secure. Public transport or public cloud is less secure, inexpensive. Scalability is high. Scalability means what? We discussed. Suppose we have 3 resources and suddenly we need 20 resources. That is called scalability. Why scalability is high here? Because it is a public, anybody can come. Anytime we can expect large number of resources may come. That is why the scalability is high, right? So Azure or any cloud is prepared when they are providing any public services, public cloud, they are ensure like anytime the volume will increase, right? You must have seen when you are going for a TSRTC bus, almost in every route, buses are so much packed, right? So if it is going suppose from X place to Y place, if the bus capacity is 20, maybe 30, 35 or 40 people are also traveling, standing, hanging, whatever other different way. So that is why the scalability is good. If you'll see the performance, obviously, if you'll see the facility, whatever we are getting in the buses, how is the bus service performance? Obviously, it is average, right? You can't get the same level of comfort whatever you can get by your personal car or your or a Ola cab, right? Performance is average. Reliability, how safe it is, how reliable it is, again that is also medium. So just to explain that one, I gave this bus picture. Otherwise, mostly you can, so that you can relate it and understand all the feature. Now coming to the private cloud. Private cloud means what? Your data, your service, your resources. Nobody will be shared. Mostly which kind of organization go for it? Where the organization is either very huge, they have lot of money, or they are dealing with some critical data. What do you mean by critical data? Banking data. Some in US and all, healthcare data is very considered as very private data. Means Mr. X is having this disease, Mr. Y is having this disease or this health problem. That should not be shared, because if you will share, suppose in India, maybe that people say, okay, he is having some this problem, okay, that is fine. You can easily share it. But in US and all, if you are sharing someone's health issue with somebody else, then it is a considered as a illegal thing. And if the other person whose health issue you shared, he, if he want, he can put a case against you. They take it very seriously. If somebody must suppose, for example, I'm giving Mr. X is having cancer, and Mr. Y is not a doctor, but somehow he know about it. If he told that, to some other people or neighbor or friends or relative, then Mr. X can, if he want, he can put a case against you. So those healthcare data are put it in a very secure manner, right? So that is the positive part. So obviously private data are kept in a very secure manner. So the scalability is limited. Security is mostly secure, right? Lot of security measure, antivirus, firewall, all those things will be kept so that data will. Performance is also very good because it is costly. So definitely the memory, the CPU, all will be of best class and all, and the reliability is also high. But most important thing is it is the most expensive thing. Obviously, if you are traveling from Nijampet to Sikandrabad by public transport bus service, maybe you have to pay 20-30 rupees. I don't know what is the current rate, but 30 rupees or 35 rupees, right? If you will hire a Mercedes, how much it will be? It will be 5,000. The distance is same, but what all facility you are getting, based on that the cost will vary. If you are going by public transport, it will be 30 rupees. If you are going by Ola or Uber, it may be 300 or 400 rupees. But if you are going by booking or by your own car or hiring a private car, then definitely it will be 1,000. That is how the difference is, because that is how the facility will be given. Now, coming to the hybrid model. Hybrid, as I told you already, it is a combination of public and private. Just like your Ola cab or Uber cab. Ola cab is not your private car, but whenever you are hiring, the car along with the driver is considered or providing the service just like your own private car. If I booked a Ola cab, it is a kind of a private service, though it is a public service, but it is privatized during that duration. That is how it is there. So here everything is in between. So it is less cost effective than private, but more than public you have to pay. Similarly, the security, neither it is less secure, most secure, it is very secure, means in between. Performance is good, this is high. So now guys, let's think about a situation when you will go for public, private and hybrid if you are part of an organization. Now you all are taking this training up, Azure administrator training. So whenever you will get a job or if you switch to a cloud project, your manager or your organization may ask, okay, can you suggest which type of cloud deployment model we should choose, private, public or hybrid? How you will evaluate? So you can evaluate it again based on all these factors, right? What is the level of scalability? How secure how much security this data require and all, right? So let me tell you, most of the organization go for hybrid. Why? That is cost effective and as well as equally secure. That means they will put all their confidential data, production data, all those secure data into private cloud, right? At the same time, every organization have a marketing site. They will have, they will also have something called their normal website, right? Which is okay to display or which is okay to available publicly, right? If you'll go to any organization website, right? For example, if you wanted to see microsoft.com, that anybody can see, right? So if you'll go for microsoft.com, anyone can go to this site, or google.com, anybody can go to those sites. So if they're putting this data unnecessarily into a private cloud, they have to pay unnecessarily a high amount of money. Instead of that, they can put this kind of information which they wanted everyone are publicly available, they can put them into public cloud, right? Similarly, all their private information, their organization, their employee in details or their client detail which is confidential to the organization, they should put it in the private cloud. That way they can they can do a balance between their expenditure, right? There are many banking organizations, so all the banking account detail and all those things they can put it into this kind of private cloud. Similarly, all those marketing or marketing or advertisement related information of that company, they can put it into public domain, right? In a project, now let's come to a project. I will tell you some of my live example which we are doing in our project. What we do, as you know, mostly in IT project, you will have different servers or different environments will be there. Some one will be development, another one will be testing, then there will be a production, right? Dev, test and production, three type of environment will be there. In that case, what will happen, most of the organization, they will put their development environment into a public cloud, because anyway in development environment the developers are developing a code. That code is not a fully developed, so if somebody will access or hack it also, it may not be beneficial to them, right? At the same time, the production environment where everything is perfect and the live client data are present, that has to be kept in a private environment, right? That should be kept in a private cloud. So this is all about the different type of deployment model available in cloud. So we discussed about this classification of cloud. First thing is, based on service model, we have IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Based on deployment model, we have public, private and hybrid cloud. So as per your requirement, as per your organization requirement, you can choose them. Now, let us discuss about some of the important cloud provider in the market. You all know about them, but still I'm giving you some example, because with this we have completed the basic about what is cloud, why cloud, how we should implement, what are different classification of cloud. Now we'll jump into some detailed discussion about this kind of different type of cloud available in the market. So as you know, Azure, AWS, Google, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud, VMware Cloud, Rackspace, DigitalOcean, these are some of the important player of the cloud, right? Now let's see what are what is their market share as per last year, Q4 2021. This data is 1 year old data. Okay, so if you'll see, as per Q4 2021, the market share of different cloud providers, with that aspect, AWS was having 33% of the market, Azure is having 21%, Google Cloud 10%, Alibaba 6%, IBM 4%, Salesforce 3%, Tencent Cloud 3% and Oracle Cloud 2%. This cloud market as of 2021 was a $178 billion market. This is a 1 year old data. So we can see now by this time it must be more than 200 or somewhere between 200 to 250 billion dollar. And this is increasing with a very exponential ratio of 35 to 40% each year. That is why there is a huge demand of cloud migration, and that is why there is a huge demand of resources or the professional who knows how to work in cloud. Cloud professionals demands are more. And if you'll see, AWS and Azure are the top two players. But as I told you in my day one, AWS is taking some advantages because it is started their cloud business. It jumped into cloud business in year 2006. At the same time, Azure is little behind because they started their cloud business in the year of 2010, 4 years later. That is why they are little behind. But we have to understand the positive part for Microsoft Azure, or why somebody should learn Azure is a Microsoft product, and Microsoft is already into those infrastructure and application and software industry. At the same time, AWS, which is an Amazon product, Amazon basically not a technology company. For recent past, they are into technology, but they are originally they are a online retail organization. That is why, if when the competition will happen between Azure and AWS, Azure will always have a upper hand or advantages, and that is why even after they started 4 years back, they very soon they become second place in the cloud competition industry, and very soon they may replace AWS and become number one in the cloud provider market. Another picture here, another comparison picture here about the different cloud providers as of December 2021 again, right? This is published by Gartner. So Gartner created these four quadrant picture, and they divided them into leaders, challengers, niche player, and visionaries. So you will see who are the leaders in the cloud market. These are the leaders. You can see easily AWS and Microsoft are almost neck to neck competing each other as a leader in the cloud market. Next to them, Oracle, Google, SAP, IBM, Teradata, Snowflake, Alibaba, and Databricks are there. Similarly, challengers are InterSystem and Redis, and niche players are considered as cloud-based, Huawei Cloud, Singleports, MariaDB, Cockroach, and Exasol. Right? These are some of the data from which I wanted to tell you how cloud is very important or very crucial in the IT market nowadays, and that is why more and more associate or resources are learning this cloud. Now let's go and take a look about the history, how cloud developed. So the cloud is developed in actually cloud, though it is a new technology or a advanced technology or a on-demand technology of current market, but this is not a very new technology. It is initiated or it is started during the year 1960s when IBM and DEC provided time sharing. Then IBM developed their first virtual machine in 1972. You can understand, almost 50 years back. Then in 1977, this word cloud symbol was coined, right? 1997, this word cloud was coined by Ramesh Chellappa. In 1999, the first software as a service or platform as a service company, Salesforce, is incorporated. Right? So Salesforce is the first cloud company initiated in 1999, which is almost more than 20 years now from now. Right? Then in the year 2002, Amazon released their first services, and in 2006, Amazon came into the first cloud provider in the market. 2008, Google released also their platform, and 2010 was the year when Microsoft also jumped into this cloud market and Azure is released. 2017, pay per second billing by AWS and GCP started. That means what? They started a service where you have to pay, the end user has to pay the services per second. So if you are paying before that, only pay per minute was there. That means just like your prepaid mobile service, right? Only initially, if you remember, only per minute charges were there. Even if you are talking for 10 second or 20 second or 50 second, you have to pay for 1 minute, right? But later on, they also came into a picture when they started paying this, they started giving the service where pay per second initiated. That means if you are paying for less than 1 minute, you have to pay the amount how many second you did. That means if you talk for 30 second, you have to pay for 30 second. If you talk for 50 second, you have to pay for 50 second, like that. So similar structure of billing also introduced in cloud, right? If you suppose created a virtual machine just for to saw some option, and you created a virtual machine only for maybe 40 second or 30 second, and then you came out, then you have to pay only for that amount. You don't have to pay for complete 1 minute. Okay, now in 2019 onwards, the CDN market booms. This is all about the cloud thing, cloud background. Now we will see a comparison between cloud and on-premises. We already discussed about all these things. Now I'm just summarizing it so that it will be easy for you to remember the fact. So if you'll see, first point is cost. So this part is cloud. Left side we are having cloud part, and the right side is on premises. As I told you again and again, on premises means you do not have a cloud services. You have only have your own infrastructure setup, means you purchased for your organization and you are using it. You are not trusting or you are not engaging any cloud provider, right? So here, monthly subscription. If you are going for cloud, we already discussed, you have to pay monthly subscription. That means no capital expense, only operational cost and fewer maintenance expenses. But here, upfront capital investment for hardware, we discussed that yesterday itself. We have to buy all 4 5 server, whatever we need, all storage, networking, in our software, hardware, everything we have to buy, require dedicated support and maintenance. Obviously, if I buy the server for my organization, if I buy everything for myself, then obviously I have to only put maintenance. If I have to give an example of cab, right? Suppose you bought a car, right? You bought a car, so definitely it will, you have to plan for a garage. You have to take it you have to do a regular maintenance. You have to engage somebody to clean it regularly. All those things will be your problem. But if you are going for a Ola cab for some travel, all this problem will be the Ola providers problem. You are only utilizing the service, you are only using that for transport. You commute from one place to another, and accordingly you are paying the bill. That is how the cost wise a cloud is a better option. Now coming to the scalability. Scalability, as I told you earlier, scalability means what? If you need to expand your business, whether horizontally or vertically, like you have a one server, but suddenly you need 10 server for certain hours or certain days. That time on premises is completely failure. Manual labor is required to expand, purchase of additional hardware is necessary for the expansion. And again, the biggest challenge is, if the scalability is a temporary thing, then after that period is over, that will be a headache for you. That will be a liability for you, right? But in case of cloud, it is the most flexible, because you have one server, fine. You need another 5 server, you can get it. You need another 10 server, you can easily get it, and all those things within a minute of time. You don't have to pay a huge amount of money for setting up or buying all those things. And suppose you need them for 2 days or 3 days, just for some sort of festive season or some sort of demand in the market, and after that the demand is over, now you can easily release them back to the cloud provider and you can live happily, right? No need to take the liability on your head. So easier to expand and storage. Now coming to the next point is deployment. How you should deployment. So here on premises, resources are deployed in-house and within an enterprise IT infrastructure. So everything you have to set up a data center, you have to ensure their power backup, you have to ensure a high bandwidth networking, you have to ensure the cooling system, everything you have to take care. But here everything resources are hosted in cloud. Cloud means those physical infrastructure will be kept in Azure data center, right? Azure will manage their power backup, Azure will manage their cooling, Azure will manage their failover. If anything is failed, it is their problem to correct it. What you will do, you will simply access them in over the internet. You don't have to take care any of these things. Now, next point is access. Here does not require internet connection. That is a plus point. On premises case, you don't require on premises, because if with intranet also you can get it, right? If you'll see most of your organization, if you have an intranet facility, you can easily access your resources, right? There are many other resources which you can do, but for that reason, you always have to be within the office. Accessing anywhere is a big problem, because it is not available over internet. But if you are going for cloud, it is very much dependent on internet. So if you have internet connection anywhere in the world, you can access your office stuff, your project work and everything. That is another point. The last but not the least is the security point. Security, when we are talking about security, network security will be your problem in case of you are going for a on premises. And nowadays, there are lot many hackers, lot many facility, and lot many fraudsters are there who are always eagerly waiting or trying many way to access or hack your data, and to spoil your business. So that way it is always a disaster situation. You have to spend a lot many amount for the both physical and logical security. But here everything will be taken care by the cloud provider, and these cloud providers are not very small player. Maybe your business, or you are a small businessman, right? So maintaining all those high level security may not be a easy task for you. It requires lot of expertise, lot of lot of lot of cost, and lot of information, lot of, you have to spend a huge amount of money for all those things. Otherwise your data may be compromised. But if you are opting this cloud thing, that all will be taken care by the cloud provider. And let me tell you, all these cloud providers are big companies, right? World's number one technology companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Oracle. So you cannot beat their level of computer their level of facility at your own premises. That is why taking cloud for the security point of view is a biggest, it's a very nice option, or it's a very good option. Now let's discuss about Azure. Now we are done with the cloud part. Let's go now focus on the Azure part. If you'll see, Azure Cloud, Azure is a cloud computing platform with an ever expanding set of services to help you to build solution to meet your business goal, right? Azure services range from simple web services for hosting your business presence in the cloud to running a fully virtualized computer for you to run your custom software solution, right? Now, Azure, we see it is the second most market share wise, revenue wise, the cloud provider in the market. The next point, which is making or why you should know the cloud, is 95% as a Fortune 500 companies. So Fortune 500 company, as you all know, they are the globally top 500 or the biggest 500 companies. Out of those 500 companies, more than 95% companies are using Azure. Some of these names I have put in this Excel record. You must be I know about Toshiba, BMW, Rolls-Royce, Coca-Cola, UPS, Nissan, Bank of America. Any big name you see, you can understand more than 95% means how big is Azure market is, right? And that is how Azure has a huge market prospect in terms of the cloud field, right? Okay, now how you will do this thing? How you will do cloud, how you will access Azure, that is the next point. But before going to that, I would also like to show you another comparison between Microsoft and Azure. This picture which is visible in front of you, you can see the data center, or in cloud terminology they called as the regions, right? In every region they may have multiple data centers, right? So in this picture, you can see all the blue color dots represent Microsoft Azure region, and orange dots represent AWS region. Anybody can see in any of the geography in the world, Microsoft, Microsoft Azure has more presence than AWS. That is how you can see, or you can easily understand why Azure has a better future or bigger market than AWS in the near future. Let's come to our country, India. In India itself, we have three regions of Microsoft Azure called West India, Central India, South India. At the same time, we have only one region of AWS, that is in Mumbai. And that is one of the reason I was just going through some article. Most of the Indian government project also choosing Microsoft Azure as their cloud partner. The reason is quite simple. I will tell you later on. The reason is whenever any government agency put their data into a cloud provider, they also want their data to be backup. The backup of those data also should be kept in the same country, right? So as in India, Azure is having three regions. So if they are putting their primary data center as West India, they can take a backup of their data in South India, right? But if they are choosing AWS as their cloud partner, then because AWS only having one data center or one region in India, then definitely the backup will be taken in some different country, which no government will allow. No government would like to have their backup data in a different country. That is the reason most of the government project in India also run by Microsoft Azure. Okay, so that is one of the picture of Microsoft Azure. Now let us discuss some more features about Microsoft Azure. So what happens, how you will access them, right? Mike, how you will access this thing. So Azure, to access Microsoft Azure, there is a portal called Azure Portal, right? Azure portal will looks like this. Let me take you to the Azure portal. uh, okay, this is my Azure portal, guys. You all can see this thing. So whatever we are going to do about whenever we'll do different type of labs or services, we are going to use this portal next 7 to 8 weeks of time. Okay, so everything whatever we wanted to do, we will do in this portal. Okay, this is your Azure portal. I will let you know who all have already enrolled for these courses. In next week maybe I will tell you how to create a Azure portal account. So this portal you will get a 1 year free account, right? Out of this 1 year free account, the first month you will get a 200 USD worth of credit limit from Microsoft, right? So that you can create any services of your choice. So that 200 USD you have to utilize it in only 1 month time. After that, some services will be free. For some services you may have to pay a little amount. That is very minimal amount you have to pay, right? And then we can create different portals, different sites to start your understand how those services are working, right? So you can see now you can create virtual machine, you can create a server right away from here. I will show you all those things very soon. Apart from that, there is another options also you will see in Microsoft Azure is called marketplace. You can see this. So what is a marketplace? Marketplace is another option which Microsoft Azure is giving, where you can imagine or you can relate marketplace just like your Google Play Store. In Google Play Store, what we do? In Google Play Store, there are many softwares or many applications are there. Based on your application, you can download it and you can start using. Similarly, this marketplace is a platform where all Azure cloud based applications are available. You can choose any of the application based on your requirement, right? And one more thing is, if you are a developer and if you are interested to develop any new application, you can also launch your application here. And if that application has more demand, Azure will also pay you for that, right? There are many developers also do that. Now you can see Twilio SendGrid. This application is free of cost. And if you'll see this application, CentOS Stream, this is another virtual machine operating system. If you are going for this one, you have to pay 2 rupees 64 paise in Indian currency per hour. So similarly, for all these applications, you can see whether they are free of services, free of cost, or you have to pay any challenge. Similarly, another operating system you can see, CentOS 9 Stream. If you are going for this, you have to pay 1 rupees per hour, right? So there are many different type of application you will get it here. based on your organization requirement, you can go and choose them, right? So this is another feature of Microsoft Azure. Now, we all know about these informations about Microsoft Azure on-premises cloud. Now let's understand some more information about the Microsoft regions, right? As I told you, Microsoft Azure is having 60 plus regions available across the globe, and there are many regions are in the pipeline. That means there are many regions coming. By the way, this picture is also little old picture. Now both Azure and AWS also having, earlier they were not having any region in Africa region, in Africa geography, but now they also established some one region in South Africa, somewhere here. Okay, that is not there. So from this comparison, you can easily understand Azure is very aggressively occupying the market. That is why they have 60 plus region across 140 countries. Azure has more global region than any other cloud provider. So you can now, I am doing a comparison between Microsoft Azure and AWS because they both are in the top 1 and 2 places. Obviously, the Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, or other cloud provider are far behind this competition, right? These two players are the bigger players. That is why they have the more maximum market share, or more than half of the Google Cloud. Sorry, more than half of the cloud global cloud share is with these two organizations. Now let's see what is a region. So region is something you can understand. Just like if we'll come to our place, South India. South India is one of the region, right? So under one region, you can see different type of data center. This number of data center may vary from 1 to 3. Those data centers are called availability zone, right? Let me take you to that part, right? So you can see this is a region, right? So here these are the geography. The topmost region here, the topmost in the globe, if you'll see this, the topmost description or the topmost way how you can define one this whole world is into geography, right? So what is a geography? Geography is like a particular area where Azure is having more than two region is called a geography. So you can see America is a geography for Microsoft, India is a geography, China is a geography, Australia is a geography, like that if the geographies are defined, right? Africa or South America, these are not considered as geography for Azure point of view. Why they are having multiple geography? Now that is a question, because anybody can ask here. Azure is an American company. You all know like Microsoft is an America based company, USA company. So they can have all their region in the, or they can have only one geography in US. But why they are having different geography across the whole globe? The region, there are multiple region behind it. Just try to understand. First thing is, if any cloud provider will have all their servers, all their data center in one specific country, suppose AWS or Azure will have all their region in USA, the first problem will be, what will be the first problem? Only US based clients can access their data faster. If somebody, right, from Australia wanted to watch YouTube or Netflix, then every time whenever you will go to the browser will try to connect to US, right? Because all the servers are there in US, all data centers are there in US. So what would be the problem? The problem will be it will be slow. And someone from China or India try to see something, it will not work out, right? That is one reason they should not, they are not putting all their server into one country, right? Second thing, why again? There are, as I told you sometimes back, China, India, Australia, or Europe, they have wanted, there are some financial data, some credit card information, some critical healthcare information, even the government data. They will never allow those type of private confidential information to go outside of their country, right? If all India's government data or China government data or Australia government data will be kept in somewhere in a data center in North America, then do you think America, China, Australia, or any country will agree for that? They know they can say, okay, anytime maybe American government will hack our data or pass a order and they can access all our secret information. We will be lost. So nobody will allow for that. That is also another reason this cloud provider distributing their regions across the globe. Now the next reason is there are some regulatory informations also there, right? Some regulatory industries are there. Regulatory industry means this just like pharma industry. In pharma industry, what happened? They also have some restriction. This particular information, particular data, you have to keep it within your country or within your this particular place. So for that reason also, they cannot they cannot allow all the data to be stored only in US, right? That is that is the reason the cloud providers are creating regions across the globe rather than putting everything in one country or in one geography. So that is the high level classification of infrastructure, that is called geography. So now we see under one geography, you may have multiple regions, right? So this is how a region look like. This is a region picture. So within one region, what you can see max to max 3 data centers. And these data centers are called availability zone. I am telling you another word terminology called availability zone or AZ, right? Availability zones are nothing but physical data centers. So this you can see, this is a 3D view of a region where you can see 3 availability zones are there. And these availability zones are physically separated from each other, but they all come under one region, right? For example, I can tell you, suppose South India is one region in Azure, and they may have 3 data center, one in Chennai, one in Bangalore, one in Hyderabad, right? They are physically separated each other. Why they are having 3 availability zone? And the reason being, whenever they will, whenever because of any reason, they may lost Chennai data center, right? Now suppose some natural calamity happens, some tsunami or some flood like situation happen, Chennai disconnected, then Bangalore or Hyderabad will take the backup of that and start operating the business till the time Chennai data center is not come back or not recovered fully, right? So I am continuously telling you about availability zone and data center and all. So this is how a data center looks like, right? I would suggest you can also Google it, how the Azure data center. You can see some beautiful videos and very interactive sites are there where how a Azure data center actually looks like is visible. You can see that over those internet and those websites, right? Another problem, another, and these Azure data centers, right? Those are placed in a very highly secured area. Hmm? Those are physically, they have put lot of physical security systems. Then second thing is they generate their own power. They don't depend on the government supply power connection, because how we are getting power at our home, we are getting from the Telangana government power, right? The Hyderabad TCF, TSSCPDL or something is there. So Telangana Power Department is there. But these virtual machines, these data centers which are operated by Azure, they don't depend on they create their own power supply. The reason being, whatever maybe the region come, any natural calamity come, their power supply will remain intact. And as they have their own power supply, similarly they also have their own cooling system for the entire premises. Okay. Third thing is, apart from power and cooling, they also have their own high bandwidth network system, which any single organization cannot have provide to their data centers. That is why if you are putting your data or application or system in a Azure provider or Azure data center, it is very much chance like that it will be in a very secure place. All things will be taken care by Azure expert team. So that is all about the infrastructures. We'll continue from here again from tomorrow. And tomorrow I am going to tell you also a brief introduction about what is DevOps. Because as you know, this whole courses is divided into two parts. One is Azure Administrator and second part is Azure DevOps. So far we understand what is cloud, what is the benefit cloud and all those things and the introduction about Azure. The second topic, before I do go into the different Azure services, I will tell you what is DevOps tomorrow. Okay. So please join on time at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll discuss about why DevOps is also very popular and very on a high demand, how DevOps is helping us in terms of increasing the efficiency of our development or application development, and what you all should know about DevOps or Azure DevOps. Okay, with that, let's stop our session for today. We'll continue from here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. In case of anyone has any question for me, feel free to let me know. I will try to address it. Otherwise, we'll see you all tomorrow. Any question from anyone? Okay. I am considering or I'm taking this silence as a no. So let's meet all of you tomorrow. Thank you. And maybe the training coordinator can stop the recording. Thank you, everyone.